I didn't have the programming and the knowledge that I have now.
Well, why, I mean, you've been around for a long, long time. Why didn't you do programming before? You knew obviously you had an issue.
I just didn't do it.
Name and NDOC number for the record, please.
Derrick Jones, 90261.
All right, good morning, Mr. Jones. I'm hearing Representative Billich. Sitting next to me is Commissioner Christensen. We're here today for your mandatory parole hearing on case number C23-370856, grand larceny. I show you have a mandatory parole date of March 14th, 2024, and you expired this case altogether September 15th of 2024. And I show there are no holds or detainers. Is that also what you show, Caseworker Gomez?
That is correct, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Mr. Jones, we're going to attempt to show you a document. It's your notice of rights that you would have signed with your caseworker December 18th. Do you remember signing that document?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Being you verified you signed that document, and we saw it on our end, and you've been properly noticed, we can continue on with this hearing. As I stated, this is a mandatory parole hearing, and what that means is if you're granted parole under the mandatory and you violate your conditions with an arrest and a conviction for a new felony or a crime of violence, something of that sort, at that point in time, you're going to be returned before the board. The board cannot reinstate any of your good time credits. Additionally, you cannot receive parole again on this case. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Would you like to start by making an opening statement?
I just want to say that I signed up for the John Ponder program, and I'm in reentry, and I got 3 certificates.
Okay, that's fantastic, and we do acknowledge. I see that you did complete some programming since you've been in there, and Hope for Prisoners is a wonderful program. So I think that will serve you well eventually when you get out on this case, because obviously things aren't going right for you. You're 55 years old and you've been committing crime for 30 some years, and I don't know what's going to change for you. What would be different this time?
Just getting out on parole and continue the John Ponder program on the outside.
And that's going to keep you from, because I see you have a long history of drugs, you have a gambling problem. That's going to keep you away from drugs and gambling?
Yes, ma'am.
Because when you were arrested on this case just about a year ago, you were using methamphetamine at that point in time, and you had a knife on your person. So why didn't you change a year ago so you weren't sitting in that seat now?
I didn't have the programming and the knowledge that I have now.
Well, why? I mean, you've been around for a long, long time. Why didn't you do programming before? You knew obviously you had an issue.
I just didn't do it.
What are your work skills?
Construction, and I do shorthand cook and stuff like that.
Okay, so you do have work skills. You don't need to be out there committing crime and robbing businesses and things of that sort.
No, ma'am.
But it's easier to go in and steal from a business or steal from somebody.
Not really, but I had chose to do it.
Did when they were prosecuting you on this case, did they talk to you about the habitual criminal?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I'm shocked with your history that they didn't charge you as a habitual criminal. And I'm sure if there is a new charge, you know, you get out, you commit another crime, I'm sure that that's what's going to happen, is that they're going to charge you as a habitual criminal and you'll be doing years behind jail or in prison. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Because with this history and committing crime for all these years, I mean, the community, everybody's tired of it. In any case, in order to be considered for parole guideline worksheet needed to be completed. One was completed on your case. We're going to go over it. If there's any discrepancy in what I read, let me know. We'll discuss it at the end. But it shows you were 19 years of age at the time of your first arrest. You have had a prior parole revoked. You've been unemployed for the last 20 years, but by your own admission, you do have work skills. You just choose not to work. You've had multiple priors for property offenses, also the incident offense. Drug and alcohol have been an issue for you. You have multiple priors and arrests. You admit to being under the influence of drugs at the time of the incident offense. As I stated, we know that you had methamphetamine on your person. You also had a knife on your person. I mean, it's fortunate that nobody got hurt that day when this offense occurred. You're a male. You've been convicted of 15 prior felonies. You're 56 years of age. You are not a validated gang member. To your credit, as you stated, you have completed some programming, so we're glad to see that. And you're still working to continue with your programming. You completed getting it right and contributing to the community. You've had no disciplinaries. You're in medium custody. Puts your total risk score at 9, placing you at a moderate risk, which is telling the board to parole you at either your first or your second hearing. Now, as I stated, this is a mandatory parole hearing. And what we're going to be concerned with at this point in time is whether or not you're a danger to the community. If you get parole on this case and you do have past violence, and also whether or not you're going to be successful on parole. What assurance does this board have that you are going to be successful and you're not going to continue committing crime?
I plan on continue the John Ponder program when I get out. I'm starting it, and then I can continue when I get out.
Okay. Caseworker Gomez, did that all sound correct to you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Mr. Jones, the board also wants you to know that the safety of the victim, the victim's family, and the general public will be considered before any parole or post-judgment release decision is made. And if release is granted, the same will be considered in fixing release conditions. Do you have anything for him? Mr. Jones, is there anything that we didn't discuss that you think is important for this board to consider?
No, ma'am.
Okay. What's going to happen now is we're going to discuss your case. We're going to make a recommendation to the rest of the board. It takes 4 out of the 7 commissioners to either grant or deny your parole. Once a decision is made, you will find out what that decision is from your caseworker in approximately 2 to 3 weeks, and this will conclude our hearing.
Thank you.